White House is enjoying some newfound popularity. His approval rating has just jumped up to 42% in a new poll. So there's... Yeah.
Oh, he has a fan.
There are lots of folks who say, hey, what do you think that's from? So I ask you, hey, where do you think that's from?
So aren't people pretty happy with the tax bill? I think there's a majority of people feel that they're getting bonuses. The people that were let go and fired after they got the bonuses aren't happy. But but I think for the most part, you know, maybe the tax bill gave him that bump.
I think that he's a very good publicity person for himself. I believe that he has no problem speaking up about things that are great in the country, whether they were because of him or not. And I think that most people don't do the research to find out that maybe an economic upswing or something going great may have already been happening before he got in office. So I think that if all they hear is we're doing great and it's because of me, and they stop there, then they might go, well, he's all right, I like him as president. I think
it's the tax cuts, I think, mostly that are doing it. I mean, people don't understand we're running up a deficit because they're giving tax cuts to very, 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 very wealthy people, and that will lead to cuts in Medicare and Social Security, which is what Republicans have always wanted to do anyway, was to dismantle all of the social institutions that have kept people afloat all these years. That will happen. That will be something that will be a result of these tax cuts. And because you get a $20 raise a week, you're ready to throw the whole country under the bus? Really? Come on.
What do you think?
Obviously, I disagree with everything Joy just said, but I think
you do agree?
I disagree.
Oh, you disagree with every single thing?
Every single thing you just said, Joy, I disagree with. You know, what's interesting is there's a pro-Republican trend in the generic ballots in recent weeks, too. And Real Clear Politics polling says Democrats' advantage peaked at 13% just before Christmas and has come down to 7.5% now. So I would actually comment on the Democrats as well. Shutting down the government, Chuck Schumer, it was an entire political fail on his part, and he ended up getting the majority of the responsibility for it. I also want to say, Democrats going forward, I'm not sure what the party stands for besides being the impeachment party. The party that hates Trump. And we see this ideological divide when you have Congressman Joe Kennedy giving one address after the State of the Union. When you see Maxine Waters giving another address, you see Bernie Sanders giving another address. And I think ideologically, for whatever reason, I'm not sure. I don't know if you're the party of socialism in the way that Bernie Sanders wants, if you're a party of sort of more moderate in the way that Joe Kennedy seems to be.
I think we're the party of all of those things. That's
I think I think there just has to be a cohesive message. I thought that Make America Great Again had brilliance to it because it was so simple, whether or not you agreed with it or not. And I'd be interested to know what the cohesive one-line tweet message is.
Republicans are cohesive?
Wait. I think that the idea that you can sum up what we are in one line is a big mistake, because it's not a catchphrase. This is like lives of people. We are the party that says, listen, some of our parents came from far away. Some of us were brought here. Some of us were raised here. But most people came here for a better life. That's what America has always promised. That's why people come. Now, is it possible that people can find a different way, a better way to come? It would be great if we could help them, help the people that have already gotten here. But neither side can seem to do that. We are also the party of, listen, I don't have to agree with you. I just have to know that I am allowed to be who I am. If it's on abortion, you don't ever have to, not you, but one never has to have an abortion, ever. But you cannot say to someone, because I believe this, you can't do this. That's part of what the Democrats are.
It also seems to me what you said about the Democratic Party can also be said about the Republican Party, because I think I've seen a real divide with Republicans. You have, you know, it came with the Tea Party, and then you have people that are far right. There are people that are more moderate, and if you look at, there are 40 GOPers that are resigning from Congress, and so my question is, you know,
I don't know why people are clapping for that, by the way, because if this is a liberal audience, the GOPers that are resigning are more moderate.
Yeah, but that's the thing.
It's Jeff Flake. It's people people that ideally would be working with the other side. So I think when we're talking about American exceptionalism in the way that Whoopi just did, American exceptionalism should be bipartisan. It should be a bipartisan thought.
Yes.
In general, I think most Americans would believe in that. But I will say, talking about it shouldn't be summed up in a tweet, I agree. I don't think any party should be summed up in a tweet or a tagline. Unfortunately, this is the era we are living in at the moment.
As far as his poll numbers are concerned, trust and believe he'll say something stupid pretty soon and the numbers will go down.
And I think that if there's any mistakes that the Democrats have made, and I'm a Democrat, is that we believed that people listened and learned about what was happening. And I feel like now what's happening is that we're like, well, you've seen this, though. Why are you still believing in him when you've seen that this is what this man thinks? We need to realize that what he's doing is working. This smoke screen, this vapor, this mist, this distraction, look here, look there, it's working. So this idea, the lying. So the idea of thinking, well, we just need to lay back and let him do what he does and people will see him for who he is, that part is not working.
That's right.
So we have to figure out how to play the game.
No,
but you're working in his own party. That's why you have the moderate Republicans that are leaving the party.
But with all due respect, we're in power right now. We control all three branches of government. It's working. I just told you the trend is continuing in a pro-Republican trend and that it's going down. Again, you are right, Joy. God knows what could happen on his Twitter account in the next few days. Right. But I do think what you're saying to me is Republicans, you have all the problems. You have all the problems. Impeach Trump. At a certain point, you're going to have to look inside your own party and come up with what you think the message. I agree with Meghan in this because we have focused too much on Trump. Trump is here maybe for...
I don't focus on him
I'm saying
he's not the issue.
He's not. That's what I'm saying. I think that the focus too much has been on him. I think that while we're focusing on him, kids don't have health care right now. So it's like, what... You can look at the shiny object, or you can focus on the things that actually affect the majority of people. The only problem I had with, well, I have a lot of problems with the tax bill, but every time they talk about the tax bill, they talk about a typical $75,000 making home. I don't know a lot of people making $75,000 a year. Most people make less than that. So when you base the benefits on people that, in my opinion, where I'm from, East Cleveland, that's wealthy. That is filthy rich. So if you're basing what works for people based on what someone who makes $75,000 a year makes, you're leaving out half of the country who don't even know what that's like.
Exactly.
So it just,
So, in part, I mean, one of the things that you said, that I think we all can agree with is it is not a good thing when moderates leave. It is not a good thing. It's never a good thing. So perhaps we need to, and I've been saying this for many, many months, we have to find the people on both sides who get what the American dream actually is. And go ahead, I'm sorry, baby.
The only good thing about these Republicans leaving, these moderates, is that once they're out of office, they seem to tell the truth. Watch Jeff Flake, watch that other one, Corker. Corker, is that his name? They start talking the truth because they don't have to run again.
Why are they leaving? In office who are Ben Sass being.
Do you guys want to continue this conversation?
I want to know why they're leaving.
That's not what I asked you. Do you want to continue the conversation?
No, let's talk about Sarah Sanders.
Okay, we'll be right back with more Hot Topics.